when you're doing a lot of things, there's no commitment. It's like I liken it to pouring water over oil. It's not going to penetrate because it's too wide. And to make shifts in yourself, you have to go deep, not wide. So it's no good doing, 8 or 10 different types of modalities. I don't want to say any particular ones, but like there's a lot available for people now, which is wonderful because people can choose what they are particularly interested in and what resonates. But for me, through my own experience, is that when you start going to sort of all these different random things and you're not actually embodying and working on yourself with one or two modalities in a deep way, you're never going to crack open the surface of yourself by doing one breathwork session here and then going to a Kundalini dance next weekend and then going to a cacao ceremony the week after. And I mean, I honor all of those things, but to find something that you're passionate with and really go deep in that, but deep, because going wide, you're never going to crack open. That's how I feel. Sometimes we need some kind of shock, like mine was a health situation. We need some kind of epiphany to make that happen. So that can be, it could be easy for me to say now because it's like 28 years down the track. So I can say that now quite easily. And there's a lot more available for people now too, which back then there wasn't. You didn't have a choice of too many different things to do to go deep, But that's my thing, is commitment. I find with anything, even my students that come here, the ones that really commit to regular practice have massive breakthroughs in their life. And those that come once a week, not so much,
I think it is that commitment. And also, like, I love that you said you committed and it was the intention really is to connect mind, body, spirit, because there's also, people that do the practice, but there is no intention. They're doing it because it's a checkbox exercise, which is very different to actually, very different to actually, really going deep into that and really committing to embodying the practice.
Yes, that's how I feel. I'm not a sports person, but I do understand, like people that do a lot of running and swimming. I used to swim a lot, so I do understand that. It's a very meditative practice, and people like that, if you really commit to that, then you're going to become very good at it, or you're going to be really able to transcend through what you're doing. And I think this is the same with the self. You can't break through unless you make that commitment. Like nobody goes to the Olympics without training hard, very hard commitment. Nobody gets to the top of their education of whatever profession they want to be by just studying randomly here and there. If you want to really commit, if you want to know who you are and you want to really make that commitment to find your authentic self and your purpose, then you really need to be full on committed. It's not a hobby. It's not some random thing that you can, like a weekend warrior type situation, weekend spirituality. It's it's heavy work. It's hard work. It's not easy.
Weekend warrior work. Does the but it's so true though, because right now spirituality is trendy and people go off and do, the weekend retreats, but they don't do anything when they come back. Yes.
Even paying enormous amounts of money, and I'm not bagging. I think it's great, but enormous amounts of money to certain big names, and you do 4 or 5 days, and it's like, yes, I'm on top of this, and the crash landing comes a couple of weeks later. So and it's like, what do I do now? My guru's not here. What do I do? Where do I go? It's a really a tough thing. And also connecting, speaking of, teachers, we need to also be reminded that it's important to have a physical teacher, but it's also very important to be connected to your own inner teacher, to start to connect to your own intuition, because we don't listen. We're so full of external projections that we're no longer listening to what is being felt. And this is where, meditation practices, just sitting, 15 minutes every day, just sitting with yourself, to practice to make that connection to what's actually going on inside you and with you, instead of constantly seeking for external things to fill us up, because it never will. It's like I said, it's water on oil. It's not possible to penetrate.